Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. Just wanted to do a quick video talking through a common question that I've had come up a few times with a number of my customers that I thought might be broadly applicable to a number of you out there over on the client side of things. And it's a big question basically around how do I get the most out of my multiple agency relationships. So here at Push, obviously we are just one segment normally of an overall agency mix with our customers. We traditionally handle the paid search, paid social elements of a customer's business. And so we often find ourselves working alongside agencies dealing with SEO or PR or offline or whatever. But a very common trap that a lot of agencies can fall into, myself included sometimes, is this sort of mentality of agency bubbles where information isn't being shared as effectively as it could be. And insights that could be useful for different agencies get lost along the way, which can be quite frustrating for customers when they are, feeling like they're not getting the most out of these agencies, and that cross collaboration piece is kind of lost. So why is it really important to make sure that doesn't happen? Well, if you're able to get around it, you get a couple of cool case studies like this. So we worked quite closely with the offline marketing agency that was leveraged by one of our care home customers. In the targeting of their leaflet door drops. And what we were able to do is use paid search data to identify gaps in their targeting, areas where we'd found very, very efficient leads digitally that they could then target with their leaflet door drops, which would have been missed otherwise. And the result was a really big uplift in the amount of leads that they got through those leaflets that they wouldn't have achieved otherwise. So a really, really useful way to essentially sort of leverage data from one platform to another. So that was a really nice little win. And similarly, this is probably one that is quite familiar to people, but using content marketing to warm up areas where you can't quite get the conversion rate that you want just through paid alone. So in a similar story, we had this customer who targets a number of places in the UK, and we're able to see what the CPA is per location targeted. And obviously you're going to get some areas where the conversion rate just isn't as strong as you'd like otherwise. And no matter what we did on paid, we couldn't get it up. However, by prioritizing those locations for content marketing and creating really effective pieces of content specific to those regions, what we found is that it really helped to warm up customers in that area, and the conversion rate increased. So it's a really nice little win there. So those are just two examples of ways you can really optimize your agency partnerships and get the most out of that communication piece. And what does that look like in effect? Well, what you end up with is kind of a sort of a cross-channel KPI mix. So this is a very, very stripped back version, but hopefully we're all kind of aware of the basic marketing funnel from awareness through interest, desire, and down to action, and an example of where those different agencies can fit. And so this is kind of a very easy example of essentially using different agency KPIs to measure the effectiveness of other KPIs. So from this example, we can use these different metrics to measure the effectiveness of SEO content pieces, branded uplift around PR, so warm actions like brochure downloads, and obviously phone inquiries. So it's really important to understand sort of as you introduce either new elements in different levels of these channels, what is then the effect on different areas of those channels, and how they can then speak to each other. So that's a very, very simplified version of what you look to do. And so off the back of this, there's a few actions I'd recommend taking away and looking to go forward. The first one is making sure you have those meetings set up between the agencies. I find that a quarterly agency day where all the agencies come together and present current actions, initiatives, wins, failures, challenges, and insights is really, really useful to then begin that collaborative process, which you can then take over the quarter and set up further meetings and further strategies where different agencies are able to help measure the effectiveness or make recommendations with those strategies going forward. The second one is to write out that KPI funnel. So going back to this slide here, just basically having an understanding of where each of your agencies sit in that funnel and how you can measure their effectiveness, and how they can impact other agencies, and other metrics from other channels as well. So having a really thorough understanding of kind of what that org chart looks like, and make sure you have that down, something you can then refer to going forward. And it really helps sort of give an understanding of sort of how to measure the success of each of those different channels. And then, yeah, finally understand where the overlap is happening. So once you've written out that chart, begin to understand, okay, how do those different metrics bleed into each other? And therefore, you can begin to get an understanding of where your different agencies should be working together and the kinds of meetings and the kinds of strategies that we should be putting together based on how those different strategies can affect each other. So these are my key 3 takeaways for you all. Hopefully it all makes sense. Obviously, here at Push, we do this with quite a few of our customers. So if you ever want to know more or get like a general insight on our recommendations, please reach out. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what you all think. Thank you very much.